One problem can lead to more, and that's what happened on this job. So in this video, I'm going to give you some things to be mindful of and show you how one problem can actually compound in the opposite direction that you want. We've heard of success compounding. The last thing that we want is problems compounding. So I'm going to show you how to avoid that in this video. Also, I want to tell you about two pieces of equipment that you need to have on the truck. And these are things that you wouldn't think about until it's too late and you actually need them. And it's the worst whenever everything is set up and you have to leave the job site to go find these things. So I'm going to tell you about these pieces of equipment that you need in this video so that way you can get them, put them on the truck, and be prepared whenever the time arises that you need them. But if you're looking to start a wash business this year, then you need to check out the How to Wash 2 course, your ultimate guide to both commercial and residential pressure washing. From apartments to parking garages, roofs to concrete, this brand new class teaches you exactly which chemicals to use, how to mix them, and the equipment and processes you need to clean every single surface. With over 8 hours of step-by-step training, you're going to master the techniques to clean smarter, avoid costly mistakes, which ultimately will boost your profit. Whether you're just starting out or looking to scale your business, check out the first link in the comment section and the description and take advantage of the Founders Deal. We're doing a super special price for the first few people to jump in on How to Wash 2. With that being said, let's jump into the video. This customer called into the call team off of Google. I called back immediately and she asked to have a side of her house washed and the back of her house washed, which is pretty peculiar. Typically, people will want the whole house washed. Not in this case, though. She said, I want the side, I want the back. And I just told her, because of the distance from where we were and how little the job consisted of, I mean, like the side of a house and the back of a house, I told her that it was going to be $300, which is pretty much our minimum for traveling this distance. This was a little bit farther out than what we typically go. Typically, our minimum is going to be closer to 250, but if she went for 300, then we would make some good money and we'd be able to take care of her property. I thought for sure that she was going to say no on this one, but she said, yeah, sounds great. When can I get on the schedule? So this is the difference between customers that come from Google and customers that come from Facebook, okay? Facebook customers don't need the service done. You're popping up in front of them with an ad. You're making them a special offer. The offer needs to be so good that they take action immediately. Whereas opposed to Google customers are actively searching out the service. So you don't even need an offer in order for them to say yes. Oftentimes you can charge much more for a customer that's actively seeking it out because they've reached a pain threshold, okay? If we think about this pain threshold, no one takes action until the pain has reached a certain level. And an example of this is if you get in a tub and you start turning on the water and it's like lukewarm, it's like, that's fine, I'm going to stay in here. But the hotter and hotter and hotter it gets, eventually you reach a point where it's like, I have to take an action. I have to get out of this tub because the pain is too much. And depending upon where we're getting these people in the buying cycle really depends on how much we can charge them. So for somebody seeking out actively pressure washing, they've reached a point where their pain is making them take an action. And that's ultimately the people that you want to service, is the people that really want it done. So I've made a huge transition with regards to how I get customers. I used to be predominantly on Facebook. I'm now predominantly on Google. There's not to say anything wrong with Facebook customers, Google customers. Like I just said, though, people that are actively searching you out have a higher intent, so they're willing to pay more. They're better customers. So I always recommend you guys do both. However, having Google customers is a good way to go. So I got two pro tips for you. Number one is if you're not answering every single call, then you are losing customers. So be sure to check out Virtual Call Team. Virtual Call Team allows me to answer every single call 24/7, night, day. Doesn't matter what time. I can keep my business open 24/7. There's always someone answering the call, getting the message, and then that message is relayed to me. Also screens out everybody that I don't want to talk to. So Virtual Call Team, incredibly important. Secondly, if you're not getting free customers every day from Google, you are dropping the ball. So jump into me and Mike's coaching group. We got multiple courses. I think the coaching group has like over 8 courses in it, but one of the courses is actually how to own search. So that way you show up when people are actively searching for your service on Google, and then Google's actually just going to send you all these high intent customers who are actively searching and who are ready to get their stuff clean. Just like this lady. Hey, it's going to be $300 for the side and the back of your house. Great. When can I get on the schedule? That's somebody that we want to work for. Now let's get into the problems that we faced on this job and kind of how these problems start to compound. So problem number one is recently water has been back feeding into our bleach tank. And we've noticed this on the past couple jobs. We actually had to basically let everything out of the bleach tank so that way we could kind of reset ourselves once before. And just for whatever reason, like you get busy and you push off the problems, which only makes them bigger, and you just never get to it. So we continue to let water backfill into this bleach tank, and when water back feeds into the bleach tank, the bleach gets diluted, which is something that we want, but not in this case. So when your bleach is getting diluted in the bleach tank, you don't know what percentage is coming out when you're spraying. And when you don't know what percentage you're spraying on the house, you either overcompensate and spray too much bleach, which risks you killing plants and things of that nature, or you use too little chemical and you have to clean the same surfaces multiple times, which really happened to us in this case. This house hadn't been cleaned in a really, really long time, so it needed a higher bleach concentration. And unfortunately, our bleach was very, very diluted, and it just didn't clean up as quickly as it should have. And like I said, when you start off with one problem of like water backfeeding and you don't address it, then you have problems with your chemical percentages and you have problems when you're spraying the house, how much is going on there. And then you're having a double, triple treat stuff. It's just not a good way to go. So we've prioritized after this job getting that issue fixed as soon as possible because we spent a lot more time on this job than we should have because that was an issue that we had in place. So the organics on this house were so bad that they weren't even green anymore. So you guys will know, like when you see the organics, usually they're green on a property. On this house, they were yellow. All that to say, don't let one problem create another for you. I also couldn't see from the remote quote that I did, I couldn't see the back side of this house all the way. I just assumed it was a normal back side of a house. However, there was a back patio covering, which you guys are probably seeing in the video now. And on the back patio covering, there was mesh screens that would need to be cleaned. And it wasn't discussed, but we took care of those anyway. I mean, obviously, vinyl's a little bit easier to clean than mesh screens. You can't spray directly on the mesh screens because you'll spray right through them. And this lady had some pretty nice patio furniture out there, which I told her before we started cleaning. I'm like, hey, please get anything off the patio that, you don't want to be sprayed. And she's like, oh no, all this stays outside all the time. So, having that customer communication is very important. We also let every customer know before we get there to have anything moved that might get in the way of the cleaning process, just because we've had issues with that in the past. I'll have a video coming up real soon on somebody who said that they were going to have things moved and they never did. So pretty much lied to us. But I'll tell you guys about that one in a little bit. But talking about the screens ultimately leads me into my two pieces of equipment that you need to have on the truck. Even if you don't know you need them yet, you really are going to need them at some point. So the first one is a soft bristle brush, which I actually didn't have on the truck in this case. I had to use a floor broom in order to clean this lady's mesh screens, which is not optimal. So get a soft bristle brush on the truck. I'm going to get one before the next job. But in the event that you need to agitate areas that, are really too dirty, in this case, some of these yellow spots really need to be agitated, which I had to do. But also in the event that you come across some mesh screens, because like I said, you can't spray bleach directly on those or else it's going to go through to the other side. And unless you want to start cleaning the other side too, it's just not a good way to go. The second one is a pump up sprayer or even a spray bottle, because ultimately on any job you do, there's going to be some sections where you're really going to need a much hotter mix than what you have. And if your blend manifold, if you're blending properly and your ratios are correct, you can always just crank that bleach up. However, like I said, we were backfilling with water, and so our percentages were not correct. And so in this instance, we really could have used a pump up sprayer or, even just a spray bottle just to apply a little bit of a hotter mix. But sometimes it's just good because you never know. You might just need it for like a small area. So it's not really worth like going back, mixing the bleach hotter and, having to run it that way. So highly recommend soft bristle brush as well as a pump up sprayer or even a spray bottle. Biggest thing you want to do if you use a pump up sprayer is don't mix, more than one chemical in there. Keep one pump up sprayer per chemical, because when you start mixing these chemicals, you get these chemical compounds that ultimately could, hurt you pretty bad. So highly recommend don't mix any chemicals. Moral of the story on this one is take care of problems early so that they don't turn into other problems. Another thing that, has kind of been a recurring theme is we always do something for free. This lady had a back patio area that you guys probably saw in the beginning of this video. That's probably where I'm going to put it. But she had a little back patio area, concrete area that needed to be cleaned. We went ahead and just threw that in because we were still finishing up the job. I thought might as well knock it out. And she gave us a great review. So not only did we do her house, but there's a house like connected to it or right next to it. I believe her son lives at. We're going to be coming back to do his house. So should be good. Hopefully we redeem ourselves on all the issues that we had on this one. But if you guys made this far in the video, the word of the day on this one's going to be your favorite drink. Okay. My favorite drink is Zevia. I don't know if you guys have ever had it, but it's a water carbonated beverage. And I like the orange flavor. It's really delicious. So anyway, let me know what your favorite beverage is down below. Appreciate you guys for hanging out this long in the video. My name is Justin, Forever Self-Employed. Till next time, hustle hard. Get that money, baby. Peace.